Hello and happy Saturday to you guys. Welcome to the Adult Play Therapy podcast show. I'm your host, RK. I hope you guys are having an amazing and awesome day and that this week has been fantastic for you. I am so excited to present to you my guests. Today I have Greta Gremlin Official to talk to and chat with. Guys, I am excited. We have organized this chat over a period of time, and guys, you are in for a treat. Greta Gremlin Official has a fabulous and wondrous page which is filled with amazing crafts, skits, customizations, Monster High dolls, Barbies, and amazing goth fashion. It is truly an honor and pleasure to chat with Greta Gremlin. So without further ado, I am going to that we can talk about dolls, of course, and play therapy, and why play is so important for all of us. So I am dialing in Greta as we speak. There we go. All right, sending out that invite. So guys, I'm really excited to be able to have this podcast today. As you guys know, 2025 has been a little bit different, right? I imagine for all of us. I read you guys' posts, and a lot of us are kind of having a different rhythm for this new era that we're in, this new year that we're in. So to be able to host another podcast show brings me a lot of joy. I see one of my dogs over here. She's a little nudie, so bring her down a little bit. Bring her down a bit. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Doll Diva. How are you doing? Hi, Mosey Chambers. Thank you for joining. I'm just waiting for our guests to join us. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for joining. We will be talking to Greta Gremlin Official. Hello. And we're going to talk about the beautiful and amazing doll collection that my friend has, as well as the customization and the fashions and the amazing skits. Have you guys been on Greta Gremlin Official's page? Are you guys connected to Greta Gremlin Official? If you are, please put that in the chat as well. And while we're doing that, I'm going to use my trusty tablet over here and send out a message just to make sure that we're all connected. These things happen sometimes, and it's okay. Oh, you're not. You're not. Definitely check out Greta Gremlin Official page. You are going to be very, very excited by what you see. So just sending out a message. Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry if my nose is bothering me. I was outside, and I will tell you, allergies are real. And allergies are a struggle. So probably when I get done with our chats, I'm probably going to be taking a Claritin. Has anyone been affected by the spring weather? I have. And it has been a struggle. This is one of those times probably where you wish that you were plastic so you wouldn't have to be bothered with everything that's going on with the pollen. I know I do. I'm like, this is one of those times, one of those seasons where I just wish that I didn't have to be bothered with the pollen that's going on. Hello, Greta Gremlin. Thank you so much. My husband's bringing me my coffee over here. You need it, right? Hello. I'm going to send you another invite. Well, it says that the invite has already been sent. All the time for me, I understand. Yes, it's like we want warm weather, right? And then we get our warm weather, and it comes with all the allergy and sinus issues. Greta Gremlin Official said, "Hey, icons." All right, let's see here. We're gonna send out that request. Like I said, sometimes this happens, and that's okay. Just take our time and be patient with how the stream is going. That's what I'm learning. I may have to. We may have to come back. We may have to exit out and come right back. Sometimes that happens too. Sometimes that happens too. It's always a fun ride, even whenever we have these hiccups, and that's okay. Got my Bob Ross voice going on. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Hey,
Hey,
hello. Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. It's so good to see your face.
So,
Of course, I have gotten an opportunity to see your face with the different lives that you have on your page. Guys, like I said, if you have not been on Greta Gremlin Official, definitely check out Greta Gremlin's official page because there's always fun and interactive things that you have going on with your posts. So I enjoy it.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Now I got to let's just get down into it. What made you choose Greta Gremlin Official as a name?
So around the time, and hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Around the time like I chose that name, I think it was around last year, so it's almost a year
Okay.
since I've had this name. But I've had a bunch of different names and I always keep switching. Um, but I was finishing, I was getting my last collectors that I needed to finish my collection,
Okay.
and Greta was the last one. So I was like, all right. And I was really in love with her. I watched the movies and I don't know, she just stuck. And I just love her energy. She's a very weird but interesting character, I think.
Okay. Okay. I love that. Now, I'm more of, I guess, like a Barbie girl because most of my collection are Barbies. I have a couple of Madame Alexanders and other things of that nature. I want to go back into getting some Cabbage Patch dolls. And I noticed that most of your collection, if I'm wrong, let me know. But from what I've seen, you have Monster High dolls, correct?
Um, they're
Or is
definitely a
it-
main focus for me. So I collect four different doll lines.
okay.
It's Barbie, Monster High, Disney, and Bratz. So
Hey.
I have, like all of us, is I started off with Barbie, actually Disney first, but mainly Barbie. I have the majority of my collection is Barbie. Um, I have the most of her, so many random doll heads and like body parts that I customize with. Um, but yeah, I have a couple up here actually. Here's
Okay.
her.
Oh,
But I love Barbie.
that's pretty.
She's always gonna be number one for everyone. Um, but yeah, I definitely am focused on Monster High more now.
Okay. Okay. Now, what made you make this transition from Barbie to Monster High?
They're just they're really fun. I think it's nice to I like Skeletor so much just because it's like you have a story. And I have most fun. Those are definitely the dolls that I wait the most for, that I'm like really excited to open because you open the box, there's all you see a Monster High Skelet, there's all these little fun nods and Easter eggs to the film. And
Mm,
it's just like a really fun storytelling experience with them.
okay.
And I'm also I wear all black. I don't know if I would consider it to be like gothic, but it's definitely very similar to that, I think.
Okay. Hey, okay, because as a doll collector, and then most of my doll line, like I said, is mostly Barbie. I'm always curious, what is it that Monster High dolls give that's different than Barbie? Like, is it a different kind of energy, or is it in fact the films and the shows that they have that connects you more with Monster High?
So, Monster High, I like the message of it a lot of, being yourself, expressing who you are, and I think that's very important, um, for people to see themselves represented. And I think it's definitely easier to connect with the character more so than like a blonde haired doll at Target. Um, but yeah, and I love Barbie. No shade to her at all. I have
Oh
so
no,
many
no
of them.
thanks.
But yeah, Monster High, I think they're very easy to connect with. I think that's why. And the
Yeah.
fashion. Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we're going to get into fashion because I was privileged, and when you guys get on Greta Gremlin Official's page, you also will be privileged to see the TV show that you were on, and you were talking about fashion. Now, did you, in fact, I mean, I want to get into this. How did you get selected to be on the TV show or the news where you spoke about the fashion that you created?
I study I study at a fashion school. So I do a lot of
Okay.
sewing. Yeah, and I design a lot of clothes. And I don't know if I don't think I have any more shows to do, but like any more TV stuff. But I've been on three times to different like TV news channel networks, which
Okay.
is a really great experience. And um, yeah, I don't know, it's really fun. So each year I get to choose a theme for my collection.
Okay.
Um, and there's not really a winner or anything. It's just like for fun and to get your name out there. Um, my first year, I did a collection based off of Barbie, and I did like four looks. And then the next year, I did m- like Cruella, kind of black and white
Oh.
stuff. And this year, it's going to be The Wizard of Oz and Wicked.
Oh, I
So
like
that's
that.
exciting.
That's nice. That is nice. I love it. So, how did you get into sewing and design? As you guys know, as I talk about it and I brag on my mom all the time because that was the atmosphere I grew up in. She had her own shop for many, many years. She had fashion shows and she designs from scratch and makes her own patterns. So I'm always amazed whenever I connect with other people that are in that same industry. How did you get into fashion?
Um, so how I got into it was one film that changed like the course of my life because
Okay.
I always loved toys and Barbie and like everything. But what got me really into fashion design and collecting was the live action Cruella film. Um,
Okay.
and I I was like, wow, like she's so interesting and it just opened my eyes to fashion. Um, but yeah, a lot of how I make my decisions is based off of films, which is weird. But
Okay.
you know, it's what I'm around a lot of the time, and I find film very fascinating. And I'm also really interested in acting and a lot of other things. But yeah, I watched Cruella and I saw the fashion in the film. I was like, oh my God, I need to do this. And that's how I got interested in like fashion. Yeah.
Well, I don't think there's anything weird about being inspired by films. I think that's one of the reasons why film continues to exist because it is inspiring. I recall in my own life, the film Clueless became quite iconic for me. I got to a point where I was watching it almost every day before I even went to school because I enjoyed it so much, and I loved the fashions, and I loved just that whole atmosphere that they had created with that film. So being inspired and being motivated from a film, I think that's part of the reason why films are produced. So there's nothing weird about that at
Thank
all.
you. Yeah,
Oh,
I definitely agree. Um, there's so much like I just love all the different creative mediums.
yes, yes. So when we talk about collecting and we talk about your history with design, which you said came from fashion, have you noticed yourself evolve from the very beginning to where you're at right now?
Definitely. So I definitely have to do more. Hi. Oh, thank you for the follow. Everyone's so nice. Um, I got interested. Um, I'm so sorry. What was the question?
Oh, no, how have you seen yourself evolve from the very
Oh,
beginning of how you started? Like, did you kind of like start off with more of just having maybe like pink, because pink is more known for Barbie, and then kind of say, you know what, I want to create something that I wear, and like you said, I wear more black, so I'm going to put black into my palette. But I want to also put some green in. How did you have you seen yourself evolve even with how you tailor clothes? Like maybe you went from an A-line skirt to now having things that are more lined and things of that nature.
Y yeah, definitely. So, fashion for me is a very important, like, part. Um, it's almost like collecting where it's like a second layer of myself.
Mm.
So, um, I'm very different, like we all are. Was I'm a very different person now than I was like 4 or 5 years
Mm.
ago. And I think that has to do with because of fashion. I got a lot clothing helped me gain a lot of confidence and overcome a lot of insecurity. And I think that's like a very nice thing. And for me and what I still wear today, I'm so sorry, hold on.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. But yeah, I think yeah, clothing helped me gain a lot of confidence and um so does collecting dolls and everything. Um but yeah, so there's like two different kinds. So one of them is more my relationship with fashion and dolls, like how I would design, and then for how like what I would wear. So for my personal style, before like COVID for all of us, I was wearing just like sweatpants and hoodies and stuff all the time. Um, and then like, I really think fashion helps a lot, and I'll explain it better. I think what you wear, like during the day, for example, if there's something in your closet, that doesn't make you feel confident. When I wear something like that, the whole day I have like a bad mood and I don't feel that well. Um, Compared to if I wear something like more form-fitting or something that I feel more confident in, then I go through the day feeling better.
Mm, that is so spot on. That is
Mhm.
so spot on. Like what you wear, oftentimes like even for myself, like what I pick out of my closet, right, is oftentimes determined by what I'm feeling, like what my mood is in. And even the opposite is true. If I want to feel a certain way, then I'm going to choose clothes that's going to help me to feel that way. So if I'm wanting to have a move where I feel really, untouchable maybe, then I'm going to wear clothing that denotes that. Maybe like more of my leather and pleather and my clothes that are more, form fitting. But if I'm just wanting to relax and I just want to chill, then I'm definitely going to the sweats. I'm definitely going to the loungewear. I am definitely. So I definitely agree with you. And if anything that we've learned from COVID is, the importance of going after what we desire and creating that world that we really do want. And I love how you said the difference between what you wear compared to what you design. And I feel like in my own personal life that my dolls has helped me to kind of concentrate on what I desire and what I like. Have you had that experience?
Definitely. I get inspired by them all the time. So the other side, which is with the dolls, for them, I've definitely changed like a lot of how I dress them and stuff over the years. I don't know how I could describe it, but um, they do inspire me a lot when I think of designing for like the fashion shows and stuff I do. In my head, inspirations of like fashion movies like Devil Wears Prada or Clueless, or you know, what Barbie style doll came out a couple of years ago. Um like I always get inspired. So like for my gothic Barbie, I got really inspired by a doll designed by Robert Best, the Best to a T Barbie. And she had like a Chanel blazer and like a really cool outfit on. So I definitely get inspired. Like when I think of designing things in my head, like 10 dolls pop up. So I don't know, it's really, really fun.
Yes, yes. And I want to take a pause on that movie, The Devil Wears Prada, because sis was wearing those clothes. I mean, like the storyline was great, but I almost feel like you have to separate the storyline from the fashion because the fashion was just outrageous. And I can't think of her name.
Andy Sachs.
Andy Sachs, of course, and I love how we see like that transformation for her, from her for her, yeah, when she's kind of like starts off really kind of like homely looking and just your everyday kind of person, and then we see that transformation takes place where she's looking quite jazzy. But the one that she was working for, uh,
Miranda
was that
Priestley.
yes, oh my gosh, she came in all the time just with sass and just beauty. Her fashion was spectacular. So have you seen yourself kind of take like a little snippet from how she even dressed and put that into your design?
So for Andy, I love her character so much. So I think like with her, it's really interesting how you see someone, and it's a lot like us and a lot of people who, don't take fashion very seriously and don't think of it as like something important. Like a lot of
Mm.
people see the Met Gala as a waste of time because it's a bunch of uh, pouring in money to help fashion, and people don't think that's important, but it is. And I think it definitely shows like it's a great movie for someone to watch, for someone who doesn't think fashion is important. Um, but yeah, I don't know if I completely answered the question.
Oh,
Um,
you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. Because I believe as artists, regardless of what field that we're in, be it with sculpting or playwriting or drawing or fashion, photography, when we're inspired, we take a little bit of what we see and we transform it into our art. And that's why I was just curious, the way that she dressed, which I felt was phenomenal. Do you see at all within yourself you being able to take like a little snippet of that and transform it into your work?
um, I wouldn't say I would say a little bit into what I wear, um, but definitely into styling my dolls. Like
Yes.
I sometimes I'll style them off of characters from, Devil Wears Prada or Mean Girls or just fashion films. Um, or even sometimes like I get inspired to dress dolls similar to like celebrities or something.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I so agree with you. There's so much to be able to grab hold to when we talk about fashion. I mean, even with us being a part of our doll community, there's so many phenomenal fashions that I see with the different interpretations that people have. So I love it. I love it. Like I said, I grew up with fashion. I love it. It's something that I love, and I love dolls. So whenever I see the pairing of the two, I am just completely outdone. Now I do have a question. When you design for dolls, or if you just design an outfit, period, is it easier to design for your dolls, or is it easier to design for humans, or kind of the same?
That's a great question. So I kind of go about it the same way for each of them. Um, if I'm designing for a doll, I always, or even like anything really, I just kind of think, okay, what's my perfect ideal doll? This is a silhouette I want for her. I want her to come with these accessories. Um, for when I design for dolls, I design like what I would want to buy, and then for a person, I try to make them look like a doll and have them like a doll silhouette dress. And um even I think today how people dress, it's just more comfortable. But before, um like um someone like Princess Diana or something, she would wear
Yes.
very like um I just wish when I really want people to dress more serious like they used to. Um, so I think that's how I kind of go about it, is I think like, okay, I want very structured fabrics and um I don't know, less patterns and all that, but I don't know how to say it, but
Okay, okay, because I've always curious, because one of the things that I love about dolls, and now my mother is into doll collecting, and we were chatting, and we were saying that one of the key things that makes designing for dolls easier is that they don't complain. and humans, they complain more, and then you always have the situation, especially if you're designing for someone over a period of time. So, you're making an outfit from the from pattern, and doing a fitting and doing another fitting, and then you have your overall outfit. That person can lose weight, that person can gain weight, and then you have to do alterations. Whereas with the doll, you don't have that same issue. So I'm always curious, like I said, what is your take on that? Is it easier to design for a doll who doesn't speak and is just there and excited for whatever outfit that you put on them? Uh, or is it, or do you find the experience to be the same?
For people, it's very, I've never actually designed for someone. I just do clothes for fashion shows, so the models just have to deal with it for like 2 seconds when they're on the runway.
Mhm.
But I've definitely had people ask, and some people have came up to me and I've tried to collaborate with them on designs for them. But people are very picky. They're like, "Oh, I don't want this part of my body to be showing," which is understandable. Or, it's really hard to design something for someone because um, of their own insecurities, and also, um, like, is this fabric gonna bunch up? Or it's very different on like a skin, human skin than it is on plastic. Um, but yeah, for the person, I definitely try to um, just kind of fix them up a bit, like in um, The Devil Wears Prada with Andy. She got an elevated style. It's similar to what she wore in the beginning, but more put together. Um, so that's what I would do for a person. And for a doll, um, I kind of let the doll tell me what to do. So, um, like I see a lot of dolls that, I'm like, okay, this silhouette's not going to work for you. And I'm like, okay, the petite body you're on right now, that's not really giving. And I kind of, I it's harder to explain for dolls, but the doll kind of tells me how she wants to be dressed, and then the person, um, yeah, people are definitely. I think um, yeah, they're very similar but very different, if that makes sense.
I like that. I love that breakdown because you're right. If there's a certain outfit that works for a petite, it's not going to work for a curvy doll. And then you also think about the personality. A doll that has more of a serious look may not wear a bright yellow dress because that may be for a doll that's more smiling, and has this illuminated personality that's zooming from them. So, or I should say, that's coming from them. So I get what you're saying with that, and I love that breakdown that you just gave. What made you use your dolls as a medium for your fashion?
I think this is a lot to do with film too. I just like to have, um, like all of us, I grew up with dolls, but also like I think it's easy. It's a fun experience to be able to, um, I don't know how to explain it. So when I watch movies or something, I can like a character a lot, and for me to be able to, um, enjoy the character fully, I like to, kind of dress like them or have a physical doll of them
Yeah,
or something that's just like more physical that I can play around with. And I think dolls are really fun because you get to like do their hair, their clothes, um, and sometimes even like pick outfits for yourself on a doll. If you have a mini me, you get to dress them up and be like, all right, that's what I'm wearing today. Yeah.
that's so true. And it definitely takes me back to the classic film of Clueless because she went through her computer first, which to kind of like figure out what she was going to wear from her closet before she actually put it on. So I completely jam with that. Now, when you photograph, right, are you using your phone or your camera? And I ask this because there's other people out there and they want to do this and they want to know, how do I get started? Can I just use my phone, or do I have to go out and get expensive gear to be able to photograph my dolls and do fashion photography?
I use my phone, so I have the newer my the last phone I got was like 4 years ago, so I had to get a new one. I think it's the 16 Pro. And the camera lately, and you'll definitely be able to tell in some of my videos, it's blurry at one point, and then I don't know, it's a weird thing that iPhones have been doing recently where it's like blurry, but then it's focused. So I have to go get that checked out. But I use my phone, and I've tried a bunch of different tripods and stuff for doll videos or like personal, like I used to do vlogs. But yeah, I don't, the tripods and stuff, they don't work. So what I use now is literally just a doll stand. That's all I use.
I
Um,
love that.
I put my phone's on it right now. I put my phone on it and I film, and I have this is like a rainbow high something,
Yeah,
like a calendar, and
yes,
that's what I use to
I love
look to.
it.
But it's just very like easy, and it's a lot of people like to say, oh, the more expensive, like the better, but I don't really believe that just because I've tried more expensive things and they don't work as well. Um, and when you're moving around a lot, doing a lot of different things with the dolls, yeah, I just find the a doll stand to be really easy, which is really funny because almost every collector would have one. They don't really have to go out and buy something. Um, but yeah, just a
I'm definitely
phone.
going to try that. I am definitely going to try that. I like that idea. Using what we have. And then it still is like so cliche because it stays right with our doll collecting. So I love that. I love that. Do you have a favorite line? I know that you said you have four that you create or that you collect. Do you have a favorite out of those four?
I think it changes all the time. I love
Ooh.
Disney, but Disney's definitely at the bottom for me. I don't think about it as much. Um, but I don't know. Um, yeah, I mean, so as a whole, or like how they come to you, or like what's more fun to customize? Like what kind of
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question. I love that turnaround right there. Let's go for both. Let's go for as a whole and as customizing.
um so well, I customize all of them anyways. But I would say Monster High, as a whole, I love them, and I can customize them too. So Monster High as a whole, I love that line. I don't really have too many complaints for their designs. And then um, Barbie, I have a lot more fun to style her and do her hair. And yeah, so for customizing, I would say Barbie and then Monster High as a whole.
Okay. Okay, what got you into customizing? What got you into
Oh,
customizing?
what got me into?
Yeah, you're
Um,
fine.
so like the head swaps, of course. I've seen like um I watched like my Froggy stuff and I was like, oh wow, this is so cool to like swap the heads. So I was playing around with that. And then like I would do all our outfits, then I learned how to do hair. Um then I found out you could like if your dolls have like stiff arms, um you can just like, rip them off and put posable arms on there. I found that out from like a um from the Little Mermaid live action. People were doing a lot of that arm swapping. Um, but yeah, customizing, I would say just like I'm not really happy with how dolls come. Like I don't like how they come dressed in like this weird, like very colorful outfit.
Yeah,
Um, I like to kind of style them up more and just make them look more deluxe, I guess.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess it's really fun, but I don't like leaving my dolls in one outfit for too long because I'm like they need to change constantly. Um yeah, so I think that's why I just like I'm not happy with looking at them in one outfit forever.
Too long. I get it. I get it. Now, because we are talking about black fabric on our dolls, do you ever have an issue with the black fabric, the black clothes staining your dolls? Especially like the lighter skin dolls or dolls of lighter hues. of complexion?
I haven't had too many issues with clothes staining. Um, I'm trying to think of one. Not really. Most recent doll that I got that had a stain problem was you can kind of see her in the box over there, Gretchen from Mean Girls. Um,
Yeah.
this outfit kind of stained her leg a bit, so there was like a very small dark spot. It's you can't even really see it anymore. Um, I can't really show you right now, but um, yeah, I mean, I don't really get stains too often. Like the black fabric off is, it doesn't help with staining, but I haven't had too many staining problems with doll fabrics. I'm very worried about pleather cracking, though. That's something I'm really worried about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That is definitely an issue, especially like whenever for myself, if I get an older doll, so I'm talking about like a vintage doll, and that doll has on pleather. I'm speaking about that Harley Davidson line. And then you take it out the box and it cracks, and it's like goodness, and it really does stink because the pleather looks great, and it's definitely a nice fashion style, but it does crack, and that's one of the issues. But I know, like for myself, with my lighter hue dolls, and I'm looking around at the room right now, I oftentimes have them either in very light color clothes or just nude because I don't want them to stain. I've had a few of them stain, and it stinks. It stinks
Yeah.
so much. I get really, really frustrated about that. And so I always wondered, like, how do you maintain your dolls being safe with black clothes? But
Yeah.
I'm glad that you haven't had that big of an issue with it.
And I've had like staining problems, but never from fabric. And I don't know if you've had this too, but like on the face, they get random stains. They always get a stain on the nose. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
I don't know why,
every
but
time. And then I have to put that little acne cream on it and let them sit in the window or, like wherever there's sun. And sometimes that works and sometimes it
it's
doesn't.
ridiculous. And sometimes I'll have the doll out there for days. Like it's so crazy, but I don't know what's up with the nose. And sometimes I don't know, it's just
The
I don't
fingers in the nose.
I don't know what it is because I don't really touch. I just will put the doll on display and there you go, like a nose stain. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, stop. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it's the lighting or like I don't know what the problem is, but I don't know. Mattel, get on that, please. Get
I
on
know.
that.
It has to be
Yeah.
whatever materials used
Yeah.
that cause it. But I don't know why it's always the nose. That's been a question of mine too. Like, why the nose? Why not somewhere else on the body? But I prefer no stains, quite honestly. But yeah, it does. It happens. It happens. I do have to ask you, how is it that you're able, because you have some amazing ideas and concepts that you have manifested on your page. I love your skits, your customizations, all the different fashions that you have. How are you able to take your idea and literally translate it into a post or into some form of tangibility? Like, what steps do you take to create?
Um, can you give me an example of a post that I did?
Oh, goodness. I would definitely say you had a skit recently where someone got hit with a car. And, and then
Okay.
you had a what do you call that show? The Housewives. I don't know if it was like of
Okay.
Atlanta, and they were pouring water on each other. How do you take, and even when we talk about fashion, how are you able to take an idea that you have for fashion and
God.
make it real?
So, well, for fashion, I mean, for the housewives, I kind of just dress them what I think like a old rich white woman would be wearing,
Hmm.
and like that's what I do, just like very housewives, messy curly hair, too much makeup. Um, that's what I'll do. And I do for the housewives, that was like a week or something. I did a bunch of housewives stuff. I would like to get back into it. But it's fun. That content's very easy to make because it's like low stress. I don't really have to think too much about being perfect because no one else has done it before. Um, and yeah, but I style the dolls in like glam outfits, and then I just look up on TikTok like housewives fighting, and um I just find like these these random clips of them. But the housewives are they're very fun. I get to play around with the camera angles, have them yell at each other, do random things. I just find it very comedic. And then for I have found a newer style for my
Mhm.
videos. Like like I did for Megan and for some of the Monster High dolls, where I walk into frame, and that was by accident. It was like a one-time thing I did for Snow White. I was like, okay, I'm doing this, but random styles of like content do come to you randomly. Um, yeah. And for the one getting hit by the car, so there's like this I not many people have done it, but like it was a small micro trend in the doll community where people were creating some kind of thing from a Sabrina Carpenter concert, where so her concert, it's like the short and sweet tour, and it's really interactive. And she'll do each show she does a different position. Um,
Mhm.
so and like how she starts off is like, have you ever tried this one? And then she does a pose. Um, and I just like found the sound. I was like, I don't have Sabrina Carpenter, but I have Katie Heron. So um, I did her in a couple different things, different poses I thought would be funny. And then I was like, oh my gosh, like people have um in the new Mean Girls, people in the film were speculating that Katie pushed Regina
Mhm.
to get run over by the bus. So I thought it'd be funny to have Katie actually run her over.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. But from film, a lot of things from film.
So from film, you kind of feel like you get inspired and you're able to just like create it. So yours isn't so much even like having to go through like this process of should I do it and how do I do it. It's just like this is going to be fun and I'm going to put it out there.
Most of the time, yes. But I do have like some projects like ever since those Mean Girls dolls came out, I've been thinking of like I really want to do like the perfect post. Um, that one I do for the Mean Girls, I'm definitely gonna it's gonna be posted around the time the new Mean Girls dolls come out because I think they're making new ones. But um that one's gonna be scripted, and it's so hard to I've never tried scripting. Have you ever like done that? It's
Oh,
so hard to script videos.
oh yeah. Yes, yes, I have. Yes, I have. And scripting, it can be definitely fun. It can be challenging, but I feel that like once when you have it done and the product is there, it's so worth it. And I would definitely say just how you go about allowing your dolls to speak to you and tell you like, I quote unquote, tell you what outfit works best for them and what their style is. That's basically like the same thing when it comes to scripting. It's really feeling the personality of your dolls and then writing it out. And in this case, you have the movie to kind of model it and kind of keep you in structure with the personality of the dolls and how they would speak to each other and interact.
Definitely. Um, yeah, definitely. I don't know, I'm trying to think like what other times I've had trouble filming. Um, I used to do stop motion, and sometimes the doll stands, they don't hold. Um, and the dolls will fall over, and then you have to do it again and start over. But yeah, stop motion is definitely it's not as hard for me as it is for some other people. I'm so sorry I'm not seeing these comments.
Oh, that's okay.
Um,
We will do comments and questions directly after. I just have like a couple more questions and then we will get to everyone
uh,
else's questions as well. So we will hold off on the questions. I'm writing it down so we can get to it.
okay. But hi everyone in the comments. Um, yeah, but there's definitely a lot of different things like for filming that can go wrong. But I find a lot of the time, you know, if it's like kind of the doll telling you. So if my doll falls down, that's my cue to be like, all right, that scene is over. I'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Um, or, I'll kind of improvise. And a lot of the times with I think it was even in the Katie video of her, running over Regina. Um, I think my camera fell over and that was not intentional. But sometimes I'm like, all right, it fits for the video, so I'll just include it. Um, yeah, so a lot of the times my phone will fall over from me trying to like move a doll around or like grab something, and I leave it in there. So I don't know, definitely you have to, like, my advice for everyone, like, be more free, allow yourself like more freedom with when you do this. It's not serious, it's fun content that you're making. For me, I always try to make content that I myself enjoy and that I would watch.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. I like that so much. And I love what you said as far as just like allowing it to be organic, and having what Bob Ross would call what happy accidents. When it happens, just allow it to happen. And you're right, creating fun content that you would want to watch. So spot on. Um, Gosh, I love that. I love that comment. And that will be on the heading of the caption. What other interests do you have outside of the dolls and outside of fashion? What other interests do you have?
Um, I don't know, not much. I hate sports. I hate going outside and doing all that. Because like people are like, oh, you should go exercise. Like, is living not enough? Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't like much else. I love, fashion and I like going to like see Broadway plays sometimes. I'm actually going to one today. Um, but a lot of fashion based things I like to watch. Um, so, I feel like doll collecting is a lifestyle, so it's hard to remove myself from that all the time. And while I'm styling dolls, I'll watch fashion analysis videos. Um, and like that sometimes helps me like understand the fashion world better. Um, but I would say it's like more of dolls and fashion. I love my pets. I love hanging out with them. My two cats and dog. Um, but yeah, no, I think it's more, yeah, fashion based, very fashion
Yeah.
based.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's awesome, and if anything, it helps to keep you focused. I remember for myself, even prior to podcasting and communications, all this other stuff, I was actually a dance
Oh
instructor.
wow.
And so for me, everything was dance. Like I went to dance events and I watched dance programs and contests, and all of that was so important to keep me focused on what I was doing. And I loved it. It wasn't a matter of me feeling like I was forcing myself. It helped me in my pursuit of dance and working with my team that I had. So I completely understand as far as keeping your mind focused on what you enjoy because you enjoy it. It becomes a passion. So it doesn't even feel like work. Are there anything that you do? Well, let me segue into this question. Is there anything that you do to kind of help you deal with creative roadblocks?
Um, yeah, so there's a lot of times where I'm like not motivated to do anything. Um, and sometimes I force myself to just like get the camera out, choose a random doll, make a video. Um, and um, sometimes what helps is like get a mind refresh, go outside for a walk. Um, or a lot of the times for me, like I said earlier with fashion, I'll change my outfit and I'll feel more confident and better. Um, or even like taking a nap. Um,
True.
but yeah, just like, simple things like that. And not anything too specific though.
That's so very, very, very true. Just that nap helps reset everything. That
Definitely.
nap helps reset everything, and can really just change your whole trajectory for the day, especially whenever we talk about creative endeavors. Just allowing your mind to rest and reduce stimulation, and and then you come back and you're refreshed, and it's almost like all the little pieces kind of fit together better. That's been my experience whenever I have my creative roadblocks as well. I would like to know, what do you do to kind of like keep your imagination going and to keep your imagination from conforming to mainstream ideology? So when people are saying, oh, well, you have to dress this way, or you have to, your dolls should look this way and dress in a certain way, how do you keep yourself as an individual?
That's a great question. Um, I'm trying to think. So like I don't like to do what I noticed also is one second, I think this hold on.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, you're
Um,
fine.
but yes. So like a lot of times what I noticed, and this is with any form of content, um, and for anyone, is when you try to do, people will notice, your audience will notice when you're trying to do something that, you know, uh, it's not right for you. And when I do content that, you know, I think I do it for the clout or for whatever, to kind of copy other people or follow a little trend, those don't do well because people can tell like that's not sincere. That's not what Blake would do. And I think your audience can really tell when um you're doing something that isn't true to yourself. So I think that helps. And it's also like very, and you don't feel comfortable while you're doing it either. So for me, it's just easier to make content that I enjoy myself. Um, and that like, and I like to be interactive sometimes. I do polls sometimes like, oh, what kind of content do you guys like me to do better? Pictures or videos? Um, but yeah, it's always good to, you know, believe in yourself, I think.
Oh, oh, so very, very true. I love that you said that. It's always important to believe in yourself. Write it down. Has there ever been a time that you doubted yourself as a creative?
Um, I've definitely doubted myself before. I'm so, so sorry to cut this short, but I do have to go.
Oh my goodness,
Um,
that's okay. We'll do this again. Well, I thank you so much for your time
of
today.
course.
Thank
Thank you so, so much.
thank you.
I hope you have a great rest of your
You
day. Bye.
too. All right, guys. Bye bye.